Ladies and gentlemen, as we step into 2025, we stand at the edge of new opportunities, challenges, and possibilities. This year holds the promise of transformation, but the key to unlocking it lies within each of us. Change doesn't happen by chance, it happens by choice. Today, I want to share with you 10 powerful rules that can transform your life. Ladies and gentlemen, as we navigate the complexities of life, one truth becomes increasingly evident. Without a solid foundation, it is impossible to build a life of true meaning and purpose. For those who seek a foundation that stands firm against the challenges and uncertainties of this world, that foundation is God. When God becomes the center of our lives, everything begins to align. Our ambitions, relationships, and daily choices gain clarity and direction. It is through Him that we discover the deeper purpose that transcends temporary goals and fleeting achievements. Purpose is not something we create, it is something we uncover. God, as the author of life, has already written a unique purpose for each of us. When we align ourselves with His will, we begin to see our lives through a lens of eternal significance. This alignment brings peace even in chaos because we trust that every step is part of a greater plan. Our struggles become opportunities for growth, and our successes are not just for personal gain but to serve and glorify Him. The world often tells us that purpose is found in wealth, power, or recognition. While these may bring momentary satisfaction, they cannot fill the deeper void within us. True purpose satisfies the soul because it is connected to the Creator of the soul. When we place God at the center of our lives, we move beyond selfish desires to a life of service, love, and impact. We understand that our gifts, talents, and resources are not accidents but tools entrusted to us for a greater good. Living with God as the foundation of purpose also brings freedom. It frees us from the pressure of perfection, knowing that we are loved not for what we do but for who we are in Him. It frees us from fear because we trust in His plan even when we don't see the full picture. And it frees us from comparison as we recognize that our purpose is unique and designed by God for us alone. Ladies and gentlemen, when God is the foundation of your purpose, life takes on a richness and depth that nothing else can provide. He gives meaning to every moment, strength in every trial, and joy that surpasses understanding. In Him we find not only our purpose but our ultimate fulfillment. Trust Him, seek Him, and let Him guide you into a life of profound meaning and lasting impact. Ladies and gentlemen, God is the foundation of purpose, the cornerstone upon which a life of meaning, direction, and fulfillment is built. Without Him, our search for purpose often leads us down paths of confusion, temporary satisfaction, and unfulfilled longing. But when we place God at the center of our lives, everything begins to make sense. He gives us clarity, guiding us to live not just for ourselves, but for something far greater. Purpose is not just about what we do, it's about why we do it. With God, that why is always rooted in love, service, and eternal significance. The human heart naturally longs for meaning. We want to know that our lives matter, that what we do has a greater impact. Yet no amount of success, wealth, or recognition can truly satisfy this need. These are temporary and often leave us feeling empty when they fade. But when we build our lives on God's plan and embrace His purpose for us, we find a fulfillment that nothing in this world can provide. God designed us uniquely with talents, passions, and callings that fit into His greater story. Aligning with His purpose transforms not just what we do, but who we are. God's purpose for us is rooted in His love. He created each of us with intention, and no life is an accident. When we seek Him, He reveals a plan that not only benefits us but also blesses others. Living with God as our foundation allows us to move beyond the pursuit of selfish ambitions. Instead, we begin to see how our lives can make a difference in the lives of those around us. This sense of contribution and service is deeply fulfilling, connecting us to a mission that is eternal. Living with God at the center also brings stability in uncertain times. The storms of life will come, but a foundation built on God will not crumble. His promises give us hope, His guidance gives us direction, and His presence gives us peace. This stability allows us to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. We trust that He sees the full picture and that His plans for us are always good. Ladies and gentlemen, a life built on God's purpose is a life of joy, meaning, and eternal value. Let us turn to Him, trust Him, and allow Him to lead us into the abundant life He has planned. It is in Him that we find our true purpose and the foundation for a life that truly matters. Ladies and gentlemen, God is the foundation of purpose, the anchor that holds us steady amidst the tides of life. In a world full of distractions, uncertainties, and shifting values, finding purpose can seem like chasing the wind. But when we turn to God, we discover that purpose is not something we have to create from scratch. It is something we uncover by aligning with His divine plan. He has already designed a unique path for each of us, and when we trust Him, we step into a life filled with meaning, direction, and eternal significance. Life without God at the center often feels aimless. We chase success, wealth, and recognition, thinking they will bring satisfaction, only to find ourselves yearning for something more. These pursuits, while valuable in their place, cannot fill the void in our hearts. That void exists because we were created for something greater. With God as our foundation, our lives gain depth and clarity. Our work becomes more than just a way to earn, it becomes a way to serve. Our relationships grow richer because they are rooted in love, forgiveness, and grace. Our trials, instead of breaking us, become tools for refining us and drawing us closer to Him. When God is the foundation of our purpose, we experience a profound sense of peace. This peace comes from knowing that our lives are not accidents but intentional creations. Every talent, every strength, and even every challenge is part of a greater plan. We stop striving to define ourselves by worldly standards and instead embrace our identity as children of God, uniquely crafted for His purpose. This realization frees us from the burdens of comparison, fear, and perfectionism. We no longer need to prove our worth because we know we are already deeply valued by the One who created us. Building our purpose on God also gives us a mission that transcends our own desires. We begin to see how our lives can impact others, how our actions can bring light into dark places, and how our faith can inspire hope. This outward focus is transformative. It shifts our perspective from what can I get to how can I give. This kind of purpose creates a ripple effect, touching lives in ways we may never fully see, but that carry eternal significance. Ladies and gentlemen, when God is the foundation of purpose, life becomes a journey of fulfillment, joy, and service. We find strength in His promises, direction in His word, and peace in His presence. Let us place our trust in Him, allowing His wisdom to guide us and His love to shape us. In doing so, we will live not just for today, but for a legacy that endures forever. God is the foundation we can build our lives upon, and through Him we will find a purpose that never fades. Ladies and gentlemen, God is the foundation of purpose, the unshakable rock upon which a truly meaningful life is built. Without Him, life can feel like a series of disconnected events with no clear direction or ultimate fulfillment. We often find ourselves striving for success, wealth, or recognition, believing these things will satisfy our deepest longings. Yet, these pursuits, while they may bring temporary happiness, cannot fill the void within our hearts. That void exists because we were designed to live in relationship with God, and our purpose is found only when we align with His plan for our lives. When God becomes the foundation, everything changes. We begin to understand that we are not random accidents or products of chance. Instead, we are intentional creations uniquely crafted by a loving Creator with a specific purpose in mind. This realization brings clarity and peace. No longer do we need to question our worth or wonder if our lives matter. In God, we find the assurance that our existence has meaning, that our gifts and talents are part of a divine plan, and that every moment of our journey is significant. Living with God as the foundation of purpose gives us a perspective that goes beyond the immediate. Life is full of challenges, disappointments, and setbacks, but when our foundation is in Him, we see these moments not as defeats, but as opportunities for growth. God uses every experience, even the difficult ones, to shape us into the people we are meant to be. He works all things together for good, turning trials into triumphs and setbacks into setups for something greater. This perspective gives us resilience and hope, empowering us to keep moving forward even when the road is hard. When we place God at the center of our purpose, our lives become about more than just ourselves. We begin to see how our actions, choices, and contributions can impact others in meaningful ways. God calls us to love, serve, and uplift those around us, using the unique gifts He has given us to make a difference. This outward focus brings a joy and fulfillment that self-centered living can never achieve. We realize that our purpose is not just to accumulate or accomplish, but to contribute, to be a light in the world, and to leave a lasting legacy of love and service. God as the foundation also provides stability in an unstable world. Life is unpredictable and storms will come, but a life built on Him stands firm no matter the circumstances. His promises are unchanging, His love is unwavering, and His presence is constant. When we trust in Him, we are not swayed by fear or doubt because we know that He is in control. This trust allows us to face challenges with confidence and embrace opportunities with courage, knowing that He is guiding our steps. Ladies and gentlemen, when God is the foundation of your purpose, you are no longer living by chance but by design. You are no longer wandering but walking a path of eternal significance. In Him you will find the strength to persevere, the wisdom to navigate life's complexities, and the joy that comes from living a life of love and service. Let God be your foundation, and you will discover a purpose that not only transforms your life but touches the lives of countless others. Build your life on Him, and you will stand unshaken with a purpose that endures forever. Ladies and gentlemen, God is the foundation of purpose, the eternal anchor that grounds our existence in meaning, direction, and hope. Without Him, life can feel like an endless pursuit of fleeting goals, a relentless chase after success, recognition, or material gain. But even when these are achieved, they often leave us with a lingering emptiness, a quiet question in the depths of our soul: is this all there is? The answer is clear when we turn to God. With Him, life is not random or aimless. It is intentional, deeply significant, and beautifully orchestrated by the Creator Himself. When God becomes the center of our purpose, everything in life begins to align. We discover that we are not just existing, we are here for a reason. Each of us is a masterpiece, uniquely designed with talents, passions, and opportunities that fit into His divine plan. This realization shifts our perspective entirely. No longer do we need to strive for validation from the world. Instead, we can rest in the assurance that we are already loved and valued by the One who formed us. God's purpose for us is not just about achieving, it is about becoming. It is about growing into the people He created us to be, living lives that reflect His goodness, grace, and love. Purpose rooted in God also brings clarity. The world often sends mixed messages about what we should value or pursue. But when we look to God, we gain a clear vision of what truly matters. His Word becomes a compass, guiding us through the complexities of life. Our decisions become less about what we want in the moment and more about what aligns with His eternal truth. This alignment gives us a sense of peace and confidence, knowing that we are walking a path designed by the One who knows us better than we know ourselves. With God as our foundation, even challenges take on new meaning. Life is not without its trials, but when we trust in Him, we see these moments not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. God uses every difficulty to strengthen us, teach us, and draw us closer to Him. He transforms pain into purpose and setbacks into stepping stones. This perspective allows us to face adversity with resilience and hope, knowing that He is always at work, even in the hardest seasons of our lives. Moreover, living with God as the foundation of purpose inspires us to live beyond ourselves. We begin to see how our lives can be a blessing to others. Our talents, resources, and time are no longer just for personal gain, but are tools to make a difference in the world. Whether it is through acts of kindness, words of encouragement, or the pursuit of justice, our lives become a reflection of God's love. This outward focus not only brings joy, but also creates a legacy that extends far beyond our lifetime. Ladies and gentlemen, when God is the foundation of your purpose, you are building your life on something eternal and unshakable. You are no longer living by default, but by design. Your every action, every decision, and every step is filled with meaning and intention. Trust in Him, seek Him, and allow His purpose to guide your life. In doing so, you will find not only fulfillment, but also a profound sense of peace, knowing that your life is part of a greater story, a story authored by the Creator Himself. Build your foundation on God, and you will experience a purpose that transcends time, bringing light and hope to a world in need. Ladies and gentlemen, God is the foundation of purpose, the cornerstone upon which a life of true significance is built. Without Him, the pursuit of purpose can feel like wandering in a maze, trying to piece together meaning from the fragments of everyday life. We chase ambitions, set goals, and achieve milestones, yet something often feels missing. This is because purpose is not something we invent on our own. It is something we discover when we connect with the One who designed us. God, in His infinite wisdom and love, has created each of us with a specific purpose in mind. When we align our lives with Him, that purpose becomes clear, profound, and deeply fulfilling. Purpose grounded in God is not fleeting or shallow. It transcends the temporary gains and distractions of the world. A career, a title, or an accomplishment can bring pride for a season, but purpose rooted in God brings lasting peace and joy. It gives our actions weight and our lives direction. It reminds us that we are part of something much bigger than ourselves. We are threads in a divine tapestry, intricately woven into a design that only God can fully see. Trusting Him allows us to step into that design with confidence, knowing that every step we take is part of a greater plan. When God is at the center of our purpose, we gain clarity and focus. life becomes less about doing everything and more about doing the right things. His guidance helps us prioritize what truly matters: relationships, integrity, compassion, and service. We stop measuring our success by worldly standards and begin to see it through the lens of eternity. This perspective not only lightens the burden of comparison and competition, but also brings a sense of fulfillment that nothing else can provide. In God, we find the clarity to say yes to the things that align with His plan and the courage to say no to distractions that lead us astray. Challenges are inevitable, but when our purpose is anchored in God, they do not overwhelm us. Instead, they refine us. Trials become opportunities for growth, setbacks become setups for greater things, and hardships become reminders of God's strength working in us. He does not promise a life free of difficulty, but He does promise to walk with us through every storm. With Him as our foundation, we can face challenges with resilience, knowing that He is using every circumstance to shape us and draw us closer to Him. God's purpose for us also calls us to live for something greater than ourselves. A life built on His foundation is a life of impact. It shifts our focus from what can I gain to what can I give. We realize that our talents, resources, and time are not just for our own benefit, but are meant to bless others. Whether it is through acts of kindness, mentoring, or simply being a source of encouragement, we become vessels of His love in a world that desperately needs it. This outward focus not only transforms the lives of those around us, but also brings a deep sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing we are making a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, God is the foundation that gives life its deepest meaning and purpose. When we build our lives on Him, we step into a plan that is eternal, unshakable, and filled with hope. We no longer wander aimlessly or chase after things that cannot satisfy. Instead, we walk with clarity, confidence, and joy, knowing that we are living the life we were created for. Let us place our trust in Him, seek His guidance, and allow His purpose to shape every aspect of our journey. With God as the foundation, we are not just living, we are living with meaning, mission, and an impact that will last far beyond our time here. Build your purpose on Him and you will never go wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, God is the foundation of purpose, the eternal source from which all clarity, direction, and fulfillment flow. Without Him, life often feels like a puzzle with missing pieces. We strive to fill the gaps with accomplishments, relationships, and possessions, yet the void remains. This is because we were designed for more than what the world can offer. Our souls were created to connect with the divine, to find meaning and direction in the Creator who knows us better than we know ourselves. When we place God at the center of our lives, we step into a purpose that is not only fulfilling but also eternal. Purpose rooted in God gives us a sense of identity that is unshakable. In a world that often defines worth by external achievements or appearances, God reminds us that our value comes from being His creation. We are not accidents or afterthoughts, we are intentional masterpieces, uniquely crafted for a specific purpose. This realization changes everything. It frees us from the pressure to prove ourselves and allows us to live authentically. We no longer need to chase after validation from others because we already have the approval of the one who matters most. When we build our purpose on God, life gains a deeper sense of direction. The distractions and noise of the world no longer pull us off course. His word becomes a guide, offering wisdom for every decision and encouragement for every challenge. This clarity allows us to focus on what truly matters: loving God, serving others, and growing into the people He created us to be. It helps us prioritize relationships over possessions, character over accolades, and eternal impact over temporary success. With God as our foundation, we can navigate life with confidence, knowing that we are walking a path designed just for us. Even in moments of struggle, a purpose rooted in God provides strength and resilience. Life's challenges are unavoidable, but they do not have to define us. When our foundation is in Him, we can face difficulties with courage, knowing that He is with us every step of the way. He turns our pain into growth, our setbacks into opportunities, and our losses into lessons. This perspective transforms how we see hardship. It becomes a tool in God's hands to refine us, build our character, and prepare us for greater things ahead. A life grounded in God's purpose also transforms how we see others. It shifts our perspective from self-centered ambition to a heart for service. God calls us to love and uplift those around us, using our unique gifts to make a positive difference. This outward focus not only blesses others, but also brings us a profound sense of joy and fulfillment. We begin to see our work, our relationships, and our daily interactions as opportunities to reflect God's love and grace. This is where true significance lies, not in what we accumulate, but in how we contribute to the lives of others. Ladies and gentlemen, when God is the foundation of our purpose, life takes on a richness and depth that nothing else can provide. We are no longer aimlessly drifting or striving for things that fade. Instead, we are living intentionally with clarity, confidence, and a sense of mission that goes beyond ourselves. God's purpose is not just about what we do, but about who we become, a reflection of His love, wisdom, and strength. So I encourage you to make God the foundation of your life. Seek Him in all that you do. Trust His plan for you, and let His purpose guide your every step. When you do, you will find that your life is not only transformed, but also becomes a light for others, pointing them to the hope and joy that can only be found in Him. Build your purpose on God, and you will discover a life of true meaning, unshakable peace, and lasting impact. Thank you.